Hello everybody out there and welcome to the final monthly recap for April. Welcome to the Star Wars monthly recap. In this monthly recap I will be covering every single book that's come out from Star Wars, whether it be the ongoing series or the miniseries coming out. The month of April we had a number one, we had a finale for one of the miniseries, we had a continuation with two other series. Now, ironically, I am recording this on May the 4th, 2014. So happy May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. So it's kind of ironic that I picked this day to do the Star Wars recap. Now, in the Star Wars recap, like I said, I'm going to be taking every single Star Wars book that comes out for a certain month. In this first episode, it's going to be out of the month of April 2014. And I'm going to review them all in succession. The month of April, we had 4 books, 2 miniseries, and 2 ongoing series. Now, I understand a lot of people are going to start asking this question early, so I'm going to answer it early. I know that Dark Horse lost the contract for Star Wars within the next couple of years to Marvel, because obviously Marvel is owned by Disney, and Disney owns Star Wars now, so basically, yeah, they gave it to Marvel. When the switch happens, we will deal with that on the monthly recap when it comes to that point. Right now, though, it's going to be with Dark Horse, I believe, for another year or 2, maybe 3. I'm not sure. I remember there was a date where everything was going to end. I know that Dark Horse is going to push a lot of Star Wars our way to finish off all their runs, all their plans. So this way, when Marvel gets it, Marvel's going to have a fresh, clean slate, and Dark Horse is going to have everything that they had planned or wanted to do with Star Wars out there. So I'm looking forward to all the stuff that Dark Horse has in store for Star Wars before it switches hands. When it switches hands to Marvel, obviously there'll be more physical copies than digital, but we'll see if they're going to keep miniseries, if they're going to do an ongoing series only. What Marvel's plans are for Star Wars, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure they're not even thinking about their plans for Star Wars right now, as Dark Horse, like I said, has it for another couple of years at least. So maybe a year, I don't even know. But I know when Marvel is close to having Star Wars, that's when they're going to start planning. So hopefully Marvel will treat Star Wars the same way Dark Horse is, because Dark Horse is doing a spectacular job with Star Wars. I don't know why Disney would make the decision to move Star Wars to Marvel. I mean, Dark Horse can pay Disney for the Star Wars titles, but if Disney wants to do that and it wants to move them over to Marvel, I hope Marvel can treat them as well as Dark Horse, because Dark Horse is doing a freaking spectacular job with all their Star Wars stuff. There are very few books from the Star Wars line that I did not like. So the way the books are going to work is I'm going to go from my least favorite book to my favorite book of the month. So for the month of April, 2014, my least favorite book was Star Wars Legacy, issue number 14, and not for the story, not for the artwork, not for anything like that, because I jumped in, I told you guys this before, I jumped in the middle of a story, and now I'm reacclimating myself, I'm getting myself into the Star Wars Legacy, and I didn't read Volume 1, we are now in Volume 2, and we're already headlong into a story. Anaya Solo, the daughter of Han Solo and Princess Leia, is being charged with killing one of the Jedi Knights, and she gets kidnapped by Ramid, her ex-boyfriend, who she believed was dead, who isn't dead, and now is pissed off with her and wants revenge on her because she left him at a Sith camp, and he was tortured and everything, and she escaped, and he thought she was going to come back for him. She didn't. He grew a grudge, and now basically, we don't know what his original plan was, but basically he was planning to take her away. He wasn't going to kill her or anything, but we don't know what his plan was. So her team doesn't believe she did it. Also, somebody else doesn't believe she did it, but you can check the book out to find out who else doesn't believe Anaya did it. And they're looking for her to save her from Ramid and this assassin that's following her. There is a part in the book where her and Ramid talk, and she says, I thought you were dead, I didn't know you were dead. He's like, you left, you never came back for me. She's like, I was wrong not to come back and check, but by the time I did come back, the camp was already disbanded, you guys were liberated, and I thought you were dead. And you can see he still has a grudge. She does apologize heavily, but it's actually, the planet has acid rain, and things are starting to get worse. They find shelter under, well, a big old bug, so to speak, until the rain passes. The assassin comes back at some point. Anaya's group finds her. The assassin finds her. There's a huge fight with Ramid. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be hearing any much more from Ramit. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. They kind of leave that open again. There's a possibility. But her team shows up. The Jedi that was with them, oh, what was his name? Jack? Oh, Zhao. Zhao shows up. Anaya escapes. Zhao stays behind to fight the assassin. And unfortunately for Anaya, though, she jumps out into the outdoors and it starts to rain again. And things don't look good for her. Acid rain hurts a lot. So again, it's my lowest picked book because I'm in the middle of a story and I'm not lost because as the issues move forward, I'm getting more and more into what's going on. But for right now, I feel like this is the one story that out of all the Star Wars books, I'm kind of like fighting to get into it and understand everything that's going on at once. And I'm sure as time moves forward or as story arcs, new story arcs happen, that's when things will be easier for me to jump into and talk about, and I'll be more up to date with what's going on in the story. Right now, I'm kind of struggling to get through this story arc that I jumped halfway through, and then move forward from there. Hopefully, there'll be a midway point where this story will end, and we'll kind of get a little break, and then we'll jump into another story. But for right now, that's it. Next up for me is Star Wars Darth Vader and the Cry of Shadows, issue number 5. This is a great final issue for the series. However, Kamid, who, I hope I'm saying his name right, it's Kadak, sorry, Kaddak, who is a clone trooper who was left behind way back during the Clone Wars. He wants to join back up with the Empire. He does. He becomes Darth Vader's right-hand wingman. During the last issue, he got shot down. They healed him. He was fighting against them. He said, just give up to Vader. It turns out one of his brothers, I forgot his name, one of his commanding officers, or his twins, or his clones, was leading them. Or was it Kadak that was leading, and I was right the first time? Oh, yeah. Hawk is the guy that's working with Darth Vader. See, there were two of them, that's why. Hawk wanted to work with Darth Vader, and Kadak is his twin, is the clone who basically is leading the resistance against the Empire. Darth Vader shows up. The people who are on Kadak's side are on his side. It's basically a standoff watching the two of them fight. Hawk knocks Kadak out, and then Darth Vader basically attacks with the Sith, the clone troopers. And throughout this whole thing, everything looks like Hawk is on Darth Vader's side. He's like, yes, this is the way, it's their fault they brought it on. But then it gets to the point where they're in a hospital, and Hawk actually says, bow down, kneel before your, take a knee and bow to your new lord, basically saying that Darth Vader beat their leaders, and he is their new lord, and they refuse to bow. So basically Darth Vader kills all of them. And Hawk is like, no, don't do this, you can't do this. He just drops the gun. Vader walks away, or turns his back on him, and basically Hawk just walks away from the whole thing. He says, I can't do this. There are many things that I've done, but I just can't. There are a lot of things I can like blank out and pull a cold shoulder to, but I can't this. So he walked away. He chose to spend the rest of his time as a farmer. He has a wife, and basically he just lives in peace for the rest of his life. There was a part where the wife walked in and he saw the shadow. It looked like Darth Vader's shadow, but it was actually his wife's shadow. Obviously, he lives in fear that Darth Vader is going to come for him at some point because he was working with Darth Vader and then left. But basically, he just wants to live in peace now. After everything he's done, he just wants to forget everything and move on with his life and live in peace. I thought this was an okay story altogether. I mean, it started off with him as a farmer. He was left after being abandoned on a battlefield. Then he wanted to work. He wanted to fight alongside Darth Vader. He finally got it. He was his left-hand man, literally. And then after seeing what Darth Vader really was like and what the Empire had become, he basically left again. Basically, I would say it came full circle. Still a very interesting story. I would highly recommend, if you didn't read the miniseries, check out the trade paperback if you can. Next, there are only 2 books left. Next, I'm going to do the number 1 first because I actually enjoyed the ongoing. Star Wars Rebel Heist Part 1, issue number 1. The only reason why I'm a little skeptical with this issue is basically the entire internal dialogue, the entire issue is about this recruit who wants to join the Rebel Alliance. And he comes face to face with Han Solo. And basically Han Solo was the person he was supposed to meet up with, and basically Han is taking him alongside him. It's like a mission or a training, so to speak. That's what Han pulls it off as. He gets chased by some Imperials. They end up blowing up, and Han then basically says send more. Like, he signals somebody else who's out there, and they kind of alert other clone troopers who go after Han. Han escapes them. However, he gets caught in space, and all this time, this rookie kid, this kid who wants to join the Rebel Alliance, is with him, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. First, he's calling Han Solo a legend. He is, he's done so much. He did the Death Star run, and that's something of legend. That he's talking so highly of him. So then they get captured, and they're in the Rebel prison. Han Solo basically pulls off basically he never was arrested. He found a way out of the handcuffs, and he's about to escape. He looks for an escape pod. He wants to free everybody there. He wants to get out, and then basically he asks this trainee, what are you waiting for? Let's go. And he just sits there, and and the trainee in his internal thought says, at that moment I saw the rebellion for what they really were, what it really was: hubris and weakness, a fantasy. Basically, all of them were out for themselves, and at that moment I realized I didn't want to be a part of it. Han Solo got recaptured. The person who was a trainee basically rats everything out to the heads at the prison, and all you see is Han Solo, a bloody mess in his prison cell. And the guy actually says he's a crazy maniac, and hopefully you have him locked up tight, because he's crazy. The next issue, Princess Leia, Rebel Spy. So obviously Han Solo is now captured, and now it's going to be up to Leia and the others, or maybe just Leia, to save him. For a first issue, it's a good setup. I felt like there could have been more. It really was just Han Solo training this kid, and you're like, why is he training this new kid out of nowhere? Doesn't know him from Adam, and already he's throwing him into the thick of it. He's going, he went to this jail place. Why did he get captured in the first place? Why is he going to the... I mean, there was a reason for going to the jail, but, I mean, there was no backup plan, and this kid just decided, hey, I see what the Rebel Alliance is. Screw them. I'm going to work with you guys. I'm going to tell you everything you want to know. You don't have to drug me. You don't have to use your interrogation droid, anything. And Han Solo's the one that's now in a cell, all bloodied and beaten up. I would think Han Solo was a little bit smarter than that, especially this is a new person. I mean, if it was a recruit that's been there for a while, fine. If this was a mission, do it that way, but... maybe there's a grand scheme that we don't see yet, that we will see, but I don't see it yet. Out of these last two books, I would say this is the lower of the two. However, I am definitely going to be reading the next issue of Rebel Heist. Looked really interesting. It all started off with Han Solo killing a bunch of rebels, a bunch of Imperial guards or Imperial spies in a bar. So that's what actually got them put in jail in the first place, and of course they find out that he's Han Solo, so now of course he's in jail permanently. But again, let's see where this is going to go. I don't know at this point. Looking through it, I know the guys on Zone 4 didn't really like it. I know Brant liked it. Me, I'm in between liking it and maybe not. It depends on... It's not my lowest book. As you guys can see, it's my second place spot out of the 4. Because I have hope that this was a setup for what the rest of the series is going to be. Last book is Star Wars issue number 16, the ongoing series, my book, my favorite book out of the entire Star Wars line. Luke is grounded because he's having issues right now with Leia and getting married to this prince. This prince has some ulterior motives. He doesn't want Leia to work with the rebels, her people anymore, to be a soldier. He wants her to dress and act like a princess if she's gonna marry him. And she's like, this sounds like something you're hearing from other people. How do you feel? And he doesn't say anything. She's like, your silence says it all. And she actually calls for Luke, and Luke goes to see her, and she completely ignores Luke. And Luke is just getting madder and madder at the situation. And he actually is put on a mission by the guy. It turns out the prince might be working with the Empire. So Luke ends up going on a mission with this general's rangers to fix... I forgot what they were fixing, but he had to basically hike up a mountain. And this general's setting everything up. Basically, there's a a ship that comes in from the Empire that Han Solo and Princess Leia go off into space to check out, and they send it on their way. However, there's something else in space that it let out. I'm not going to spoil what that is, but like I said, the prince is working possibly with the Empire. The general's very happy that the prince is on the Empire side or planning this against him. You got Luke trying to reach out for Ben every which way, and that's not happening. And yeah, basically that's it. And we don't know what's going to happen to Luke, but I'm not really too keen on these Rangers that he's with. They look like it looks like there's an ulterior plan for Luke that these Rangers are planning. But we don't know what that is yet. And from what you can see on the next cover, yeah, it doesn't look good for what's going to happen with Luke. So everything's kind of unraveling. Like Leia thinks that the Rebel Alliance finally found a new base. They're talking about creating the Y-Wings, the X-Wings. They're looking to Rebel. Remember, the Rogue Squadron was just created now. So Rogue Squadron is now building up. Leia and the others have no idea what the Prince and the General are planning. And now you have the Empire with what they have in space now. I don't want to spoil that. Luke walked off because he's pissed off at Leia and what's going on. What's his name? Oh shoot. Wedge is upset with Luke, but he understands what's going on with Luke. That's why he grounded him, and he's not part of Rogue Squadron at this point, Luke, because basically Wedge wants him to cool down first. A lot's going on, and I can't wait to see where this is all going. At some point, you know that the Empire is going to show up, and what's going to happen next. It's crazy, because everything's setting up for Luke and the others to fall, and it's just crazy. So I'm looking forward to the next issue. This is a 5 out of 5 stars. I love the ongoing series a lot. I love it. I would highly recommend Star Wars. Start from the beginning. The first 2 trade paperbacks are out. This is starting the 3rd. Why not? Jump in from trade paperback 1. I believe it's $11.99 on Amazon. Star Wars is an amazing series. Now the ongoing series. The miniseries are also good, but Star Wars, the ongoing series, since issue 1 has been very consistent with their work. It's been very good. It's been boom, boom, boom. We've been getting it from issue 1 all the way through to now. It's just continued to deliver with the amazing story. And with that, that's it for this review, guys. Feel free to leave comments below. Agree, disagree, your recommendations, but I'm reading everything at this point. Any questions you guys have with Star Wars, feel free to leave it below, and I will answer all your guys' comments on this Friday's weekly comic book haul. Also, don't forget to check out comic-related, Comic Frontline, and Zone4Podcast.com. Together, we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Look forward to the Star Wars recap next month. Looking forward to a lot of books that are coming out next month. And until next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys in the next review. May the 4th be with you, everybody, and happy Star Wars Day again. Take care, everybody.